So here on the bench with me today, I've got a power station that was sent out to me to try it and test by this brand. This is the GRECELL T300 power station, and I've had the last couple days to kind of get a feel for how this thing operates. I've done some testing on it, so I thought I'd share with you today kind of what I've seen so far, explain the features and specs on this, and then you guys can decide whether you think this is the right unit for you and your situation or not. So when you first get this thing out of the box, it is going to need to be charged up for the first time. You've got 3 different ways effectively that you can charge this unit, and they supply you with all the cords to do so. The first one's going to be your 110 outlet, so just your basic wall outlet, and you can get this unit basically back fully charged from being in a completely dead state in somewhere around 6 to 7 hours or so if you're using this method here. The second method to be able to charge this unit up is going to be just your standard 12 volt like you'd plug in your vehicle. And once again, to get it fully charged back up from a dead state, you're looking around somewhere about 7 to 9 hours to get this unit back charged again. The third method to charge this unit is going to be by solar panel. Now you are going to have to pick up the solar panel. It's not included with this unit, but they do include the cord to be able to do so. And all 3 of these methods I just showed you to charge this are going to plug in right here in this top right hand corner, and that's going to effectively charge your unit up when you need to do so. When it came to the battery capacity itself, that was something else I also wanted to test. They rated at 230.88 watt hours. I wanted to see how close we were going to be to that rated capacity. So I've got a battery load tester that I've stuck on this thing and ran that overnight. You're wanting to be somewhere around that 80 to 85% mark of the rated capacity. And with this unit here, after running it all night, I was able to get around 173 watt hours out of this unit before it was depleted and shut itself off, which is about 75% of the rated capacity that they advertised. So let's go and dive into the other features on this unit now real quick, and then we'll start plugging in some devices and we'll show you kind of what to expect with this unit. Going across the front display here, you're going to see in the top left hand corner, you've got your power button. We'll go ahead and get that turned on real quick, and you'll see on the front of the screen, it shows your battery level, which is 100% right now because mine is fully charged. The actual outlets here at the bottom itself will not turn on until you actually physically push this DC and the AC button. Now all of these connections are turned on and you're ready to charge your devices. You do also have a light on the side of this, so if I turn this over this way, you'll see this little 3 watt LED light. It's not extremely bright, but it is kind of nice and handy to have something on the unit built in the event that you're in a low light situation and you need to be able to see a little bit better. And that's really all there is to this little unit here. It's pretty simple setup. The unit itself does come with this nice little carrying handle. It weighs about 7.5 pounds, so it's pretty light, which makes it kind of nice if you're going on any kind of weekend trips, if you're doing any tent camping, things like that. That's really where this unit's going to shine. You could take this, stick it in the tent. You could probably run like your fan overnight. You could run a CPAP machine for maybe a night or 2, depending on which model you've got. You could even run like an outdoor projector on a screen and maybe watch a movie or 2 on this unit before it would need to be charged again. So it really just depends on your situation and what you guys are choosing to use this thing for. And keep in mind, this isn't going to be just for camping situations either. You could take this out to the ball field with you and run those same fans, or be able to charge your devices if you're going to be out there all day. You can even run like a small mini fridge on this little thing. Basically, the only devices you're not going to be able to run on this little power station are going to be anything that has some kind of a heating element to it. So like a coffee machine, a hair dryer, a little space heater. Those are all going to be rated at a lot higher wattage than this unit's capable of producing for you. So you'd have to step up to a much larger unit to be able to run those kind of things. For sake of example today, I wanted to go ahead and plug in some devices to this to show you just exactly how this unit actually operates. So let's go ahead, and I've got a couple phones, an iPad, and a power station out here with me. We'll see if we can plug all these into the DC outlet here, and I'll show you exactly what to expect. Now on the front of here, you do have your 12 volt adapter. You've got 2 USB-C ports and 2 USB-A ports. So we're gonna see if we can go ahead and max out all those and see what all we can run at one time here. And I'll go ahead and get all these cords plugged in. So the one thing about this unit that I think I would have preferred to see, although I do understand why they went ahead and went this route, is the fact that there is only one 110 outlet on here. With this being rated at only 330 watts essentially, I can understand where maybe having 2 110 outlet devices on this unit might overload the device, and that's not something we want to do. In fact, we really want to keep this thing somewhere between that maybe 50 to 75, maybe 80% max of what it's capable of running at, to kind of keep it in the optimum range where this unit's going to perform at its peak. But we'll go ahead and start plugging in some devices here. So I'll plug this one in, I'll get my iPad charging, and with those 2 plugged in right now, we're up to 22 watts. Let's go ahead and keep plugging in some more stuff here, and we'll go ahead and plug in this phone and plug in this phone. So with all 4 of these devices now plugged on here, I'll let this thing stabilize and kind of catch its breath here. And we are at 41 watts right now charging all these devices. The manual that comes with this unit, they rate this being able to charge a smartphone 25 times before this unit would need to be recharged again. In my experience testing these units out in the past, that number is usually ideal environment. It's usually somewhat inflated. I have not tested that personally on this unit just yet, but if you figure if a smartphone is somewhere around 10 watt hours and this unit here was able to do 170, let's just say 173 watt hours was what I tested on capacity, I'd like to think that you can get somewhere between like 15 and 20 charges out of this power station on one smartphone before this unit would need to be charged up again. Now let's go ahead and take these off here. I'll unplug all of these and let's show you another scenario. So let's say you took this unit with you and you need to be able to charge a drill battery. So I've got a Milwaukee battery here with me. Let's go ahead and plug in our charger here to the 110 outlet, and then we'll go ahead and plug in our battery and we'll see if it can run that or not. You can hear the fan just kicked on now, so when you get up in those higher watt ranges, you'll hear that fan kick on just to control the heat in the unit. And even with that fan being on, it's not overbearing. I feel like I could talk over it just fine. So if you're in a tent and this thing's running in the middle of the night, it should not keep you awake at night. It's pretty quiet. So we're sitting at 241 watts right now, charging this battery up. So like I mentioned, 330 watts is our kind of our rated output we can use on this unit. With us sitting at 242, 243 watts right now, it can more than charge just this battery by itself. We could probably even charge one of our phones at the same time, but not have to worry about overworking this unit itself. So let's go and take this unit outside real quick. I've got a IceCo freezer. It's a dual zone freezer. It's actually a pretty big freezer that we take with us quite a bit on trips. I want to see if this unit will actually power that and see what kind of watts it consumes on that freezer. And then we're also going to plug the solar panel I've got into this as well. We'll show you that part real quick. So out here in the driveway with my little freezer, I've got my unit stacked here. So we're going to go ahead and plug in our solar panel adapter here. And what's nice about these is a lot of these are pretty universal, so you can use a different brand solar panel with these. You don't have to go with the brand specific on these power stations as long as the connections all line up. So we'll go ahead and plug that solar panel in first and we'll get this unit charging. And we should see, now it shows power in. And like I mentioned, it's kind of an overcast day out here today. So I'm not expecting max capacity out of my solar panel. So with this plugged in now on the solar panel, we are seeing around 16 watts of power being put back into the power station itself. If it was a sunnier day, we should get a little better than that. But nonetheless, I got a little bit of power coming in here. So that's going to help prolong whatever it is you're trying to power if you've got access to a solar panel. And mine here, like I mentioned, is a 100-watt solar panel. You can go up to 120 watts with this unit. So now that I got that charging here, let's go ahead and plug in my freezer here. Now this freezer is capable of running on both 12 volts and 110 volt. But I'm going to go ahead and just plug in your normal outlet to the AC just to see what kind of watts we're going to get out of this. So this thing will take a second to kick on, and then we'll have on the screen, it should display how many watts we're running. So now that we got the freezer hooked up, I'm effectively putting in 16 or 17 watts of power from the solar panel itself, and the freezer itself with the compressor running is running around 50 watts right now off of this unit. So you can see with the 330 watt unit, even this big freezer right here, I could probably run this freezer all day long on the 50 watts, and you could probably get through an 8-hour day easily with this freezer if you needed to do so. So hopefully this kind of gave you an idea as to what you can run off these little power stations like this. They're extremely handy to have around, and like I mentioned, with it only being 7.5 pounds or so, and it being such a small footprint, it's no different than taking like a little lunch cooler with you wherever you go, and then you've got access to power whenever you need it. So take a look at this unit, see if this might fit the bill for you, or maybe you need to size up to a little bit larger unit depending on what it is you're trying to run. Other than that, this is where I'm going to leave you on this review. Hopefully this was somewhat helpful for you in making a decision as to whether this little unit might be right for you. Appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.